From Rectangle Health, this is the Modern Practice Podcast, a show that provides you with fresh perspectives and practical advice from industry experts in the ever-changing world of healthcare technology. Every episode, we tackle a timely topic to help you stay current and simplify the business side of healthcare. Without further ado.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Modern Practice Podcast. We've got a great episode in store for you today. We're joined by Allyson Thut, Director of Partner Development, and Chris Poche, Vice President of Partner Strategy, to discuss how Rectangle Health fits into your organization's plans for growth and revenue. Allyson, Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Gary. Excited to be here.
Yeah, same. Thanks, Gary.
Awesome. Before we get started, I want to give our listeners the opportunity to learn a little bit about you both. And Allyson, I'll start with you. Can you share a little bit about your background and your role at Rectangle Health?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. So I'm Allyson. I am a Wisconsinite. So I'm here in the Wisconsin area. Go Pack. I started with Rectangle Health in 2010. So I will be celebrating my 13th year here this year. So I started in direct sales, selling our solution, to healthcare providers locally here in the Wisconsin territory. And then throughout the years, evolved into some player coach roles in the direct sales, mentoring new sales reps coming out. And a couple of years ago, transitioned into the partner channel with Chris.
Great. Thank you so much, Allyson. Chris, can you give us an overview of your journey? And I want to add what drew you to Rectangle Health.
Yeah, sure. So Gary, I want to lodge officially for the record that it's not fair that I've got to follow Allyson and her incredible experience here at Rectangle, but I would do my best. So Gary, I've been in the payments industry for 20 years, spending a large amount of time in executive sales leadership roles, doing a little bit of everything, small business sales, new sales, enterprise sales, field sales, telesales, existing client deepening sales, cross sales. And integrated solutions. And so it was in the integrated solutions that I met Rectangle. I was working for a fairly large company, leading their integrated sales teams when we were in the marketplace looking for a solution to become more relevant in healthcare. We had quite a large number of integrated healthcare solutions where, we were the exclusive provider of the payments functionality inside of this healthcare software. Our challenge was we didn't have them all, nowhere near. So when we would go to market, a lot of times we would have to go to lowest common denominator from a value prop standpoint, which was price. That is not a good place to be when you're trying to create value in the marketplace. But then we met Rectangle, and this was 5 years ago. And we, at the time, essentially became Rectangle's first foray into distribution partner sales, where we had sales distribution, we had access to healthcare opportunities. We needed a solution to make us more relevant for these healthcare providers, and Rectangle provided that in spades. So we launched over 5 years ago, and it quickly became a very, very successful solution. Shortening a long story to the point where about a year and a half ago, I was contacted by Rectangle to take this concept that we launched 5 years ago, and let's build it out and provide it to more of the marketplace. And so that's my role, working with Allyson to evangelize our healthcare solutions in the marketplace so that more practices and more providers have access to these awesome solutions.
Incredible. And thank you both so much for joining me again today. And let's get into it. And Chris, I'll start with you and present a scenario I think you'll appreciate. It's New York Giants versus New Orleans Saints, Sunday night football. We're at the game. We've just met, and we get to talking about our professions in between halves. Tell me about Rectangle Health.
Wait, can we talk about football first, Gary? If
I'll
we're
bring
talking
you on for another episode for that.
If we're talking Saints versus Giants, then I can only assume we're time traveling back to 2016, November 1st. It's the New Orleans Saints versus the New York Giants in the Superdome, All Saints Day. What a game. Gary, we're both over the moon. Eli Manning has thrown for 6 touchdowns. Unbelievable. Odell Beckham has 3 of them. But you know what? Drew Brees, who dat nation, Drew Breeses, has already thrown 7. Holy cow, you're right. Gary, this is incredible. Why are we talking about business? But okay, if we are, you ask about Rectangle Health, and what I say is, Gary, this is simple. We simplify the business side of healthcare, and we do it by connecting patients and practices, making it efficient for a practice to take a payment while making it easy for a patient to make a payment. And this is important. You can have one without the other, but if you don't have both, you still have inefficiency in the system. So we provide both. And the great part about Rectangle is, Gary, we've been doing this for 30 years exclusively in healthcare. So you take all of that combined product knowledge, the experiential knowledge, the feedback from the marketplace of, hey, here are the pain points we have as a practice. Here are the pain points we have as a patient. And we've been able to meld all of this together into our solution called Practice Management Bridge, which makes these connections, creates efficiencies and great patient experience, and adds a tremendous amount of value into the marketplace.
Thanks, Chris, and thank you for rehashing that brutal reminder and brutal memory we had in that game.
You're welcome.
I will just go ahead and point out the number of championship rings, one of which stopped a perfect season.
I've got nothing there, man.
Well, we're not just talking Giants and Saints today. We moved to Wisconsin to Allyson, who happens to be a huge Packers fan. Allyson, in your role, you speak about Rectangle Health and present the value of the organization every day. Who benefits from this solution?
Yeah, good question, Gary. When I think about who benefits from the solution, the partnership, there's a lot of different parties involved. I think of, as Chris spoke about, the healthcare practices. So the end users utilizing our solution, Practice Management Bridge. We're helping them get paid more. We're simplifying that business side of healthcare for them, making it efficient to collect from their patients. The patients, they benefit. Patients that are seeing healthcare providers that are utilizing our solution. We're making it easy for them to pay their healthcare balances due. We've all been to a healthcare provider before where they might try to estimate our patient portion, collect at the time of treatment. We leave, and a few weeks later, we get a bill in the mail. And what our options are to call in between meetings or write a check to make a payment. It's not efficient. So we're helping it become easier for patients to make those payments to their healthcare providers in ways that they want to engage. Contactless, frictionless, card on file patient payment options. And then when I think of who else benefits in partnership, our partners, the partners who are reselling our solution, they benefit greatly by helping expand and grow their portfolio. A lot of our reseller partners have maybe not tackled healthcare or don't have as much exposure into the healthcare marketplace due to lack of a solution, lack of healthcare experience. We're going to help our partners grow in their presence, being relevant in the healthcare marketplace, grow their high margin portfolios, helping sales reps become more experienced and exposed to the healthcare marketplace with a partnership with Practice Management Bridge.
You touched on this, Allyson, really quickly, and I want to expand a little bit. So that feedback you get once a partnership's been established, a month out, 2 months out from that point of, we are now partners, let's say 1 year out, is there a common theme or recurring message you hear?
Yeah, I would say, at that 1 month out standpoint from partnership, the very consistent feedback we hear is how easy we've made it. Partners are always surprised at how easy we make it for them to win in healthcare. They're surprised by our support. They're surprised at us lending them our healthcare expertise. One of the benefits of partnership through us that people are always surprised at is you don't have to be a healthcare expert. You don't have to be a product expert. You don't have to be a solutions expert. We're going to lend you our healthcare expertise. And people, our new partners are always surprised by that. So I would say that's pretty consistent feedback we hear at the 1 month mark. At the 1 year mark, we start to hear more feedback on how we can help the partners scale. They are seeing success. They're growing in that healthcare marketplace. They're growing their portfolio. They come to us and they say, this is great. It's been so easy. We want to win more. We want to win bigger together. How do we scale the partnership? How do we continue to grow together? They're also at that point starting to share feedback from their users. And they're starting to share the differences that the healthcare practices are experiencing and seeing an increase of payments from their patients. So again, down to the provider level, sharing that experience of how seamless the transition was, the increased cash flow, streamlining just operations at the healthcare provider location. All of that filters right back up to us through the partnership, and we love hearing that feedback.
Thanks so much, Allyson. I love what you said there about not having to be a healthcare expert, because I've said it in past episodes. Previous guests have said it on the episodes and offline conversations alike. Rectangle Health takes a consultative approach to everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
So the guidance and support, as you mentioned, is massive. It goes a long way. So Chris, I'll turn to you. Last question. What's the game changer? What makes Rectangle Health unique?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Gary. And I think we've touched on a lot of what makes partnering with Rectangle unique in the marketplace. We touched on experiential knowledge. Fun fact, there were over 50,000 unique instances of working with healthcare softwares in the marketplace. We think that's unmatched. Allyson, I think, touched on ease of launch, which means for a partner, speed to revenue. Here's another fun fact. Our record today, as it stands, is from contract signature to first new practice on board with a healthcare solution, with our healthcare solution, is 48 hours. That's unimaginable in integrated payments. Allyson touched on scale as well, which I think is incredibly important, because whether you're a partner with one salesperson or you're a partner with a sales distribution of 700 to 1,000 people, Rectangle has the resources to scale all over that spectrum. But I think if I'm going to focus on one thing that makes us truly unique, you said a word I think is important: consultative. And I think that's a perfect word to say that partnering with Rectangle is not a cookie cutter partnership. It is individualized to every single partner's specific needs. And so whether you are a healthcare expert or you have no knowledge of integrated healthcare payments, it doesn't matter. Whether you have the ability to demo the software or you need help, along that continuum of support, we are going to meet our partners exactly where they need to be met so that we can both have success, incremental success in the marketplace, winning healthcare, and winning healthcare with value propositions that promote efficiency and patient experience, not price, so that we can win healthcare, really look at healthy margins, and we can win healthcare that we're not going to lose to the competition because of price. So I think it's the word you said, consultative, I think that really makes partnering with Rectangle truly a game-changing experience.
Yeah, I love that. And just going back real quick, 48 hours after partnering with Rectangle Health, to close a deal, just think about the value. It's so much, so robust to offer to the
Oh.
industry that, it speaks for itself. 48 hours after signing,
Yeah.
you now have new business coming in. That's incredible.
Gary, for our listeners that know integrated payments and know the typical process behind integrated payments, they know that a typical integrated software relationship from start to revenue day one, if we're lucky, it's a 6-month process from identifying the solution, coding the solution, testing the solution, and then finally rolling it out. In reality, those 6 months, people would say that's a pipe dream. It's more like 9, 12, 18 months. So to be able to go to market with an integrated solution and to do it within 48 hours, unheard of.
Truly incredible. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. And for our listeners tuning in, if you want to discuss the powerful impact of Rectangle Health solution for your business, or if you want to just talk football, I invite you all to connect with Chris and Allyson on LinkedIn. They're a wealth of knowledge and always happy to discuss the value of Rectangle Health software and what it brings to the industry. I will have links to both of their profiles in the description of this episode below, as well as a link to Rectangle Health Solution Center. There's a ton of information there as well. Allyson, Chris, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks, Gary.
Hey, thanks, Gary. And look, I'll say if any of our listeners want to call and talk football, I just have one request. Can we wait until the Saints start winning again? Please.
Well, we'll see what happens in the upcoming season ahead. And again, thank you so much. And thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. Till next time, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Modern Practice Podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or SoundCloud for new episodes. And follow Rectangle Health on social media for more helpful information, news, and event details. Thanks for tuning in.